July 4th update, Mr. Tommy's Opus. I guess we've seen this before. Maybe a bad lens choice here, really. Oh, shit. Yeah, not much on that wall. Now we got the sink just about ready to go in. It's gonna have to come back out for one last attachment. Get it over there. Nothing new. Whoops, nothing new here. And of course, pride and joy, French door. That's about it. And Mr. Tommy's Opus, July 5. Shit, it's July 8th. Gotta get back to work. Still July 8th, we got the initial glue up on the west wall drawer bank. Those dados are absolutely dead on the money. Incredible overkill. Whoop. May have outdone myself on that one. Speaking of which, here's the bottom. Cutouts to access the splice boxes. Ridiculous overkill because the inspector never would have known that there were boxes underneath the cabinets. Oh yeah. Okay. That's it for now. July 9th, switch to a wide angle lens. In the attempt to create an appearance that more has been accomplished here than it was looking like yesterday. Well, here's the first drawer bank, ready to put the top on. That installed. Right over there. A little counter space, and that puppy gets moved in to position, and we can install sink, garbage disposal, whoopsie, and dishwasher. Okay, Mr. Tommy's Opus, July 9th. MTO, July 10th. Okay, we got the face frames going on sink carcass. One down, that's the easy one. This one takes biscuits. Hopefully it won't be too bad. And with that, we got the face frame on here. Okay. And we're ready to join them up and do the permanent mount. Oh yeah, here we got our little blowhole for the heating and air conditioning vent, which was put in a ridiculously stupid manner, but this should compensate for it. That's it for now. Mr. Tommy's Opus, 7:15.
Good morning, baby.
Got some progress. All the coffee stations plumbed in. Final detail to come, of course. And looky. We got dishwasher, garbage disposal, sink, and water. Ooh-wee. oven. Alright.
Beautiful flowing, baby.
Over here, of course, is where the stove is going to go. Not quite there yet. Could be the next target. Mr. Tommy's Opus. 722. Got the permanent installation of the dishwasher done. Got all plumbing and electric finalized. Got the carcasses going here for the north wall where the stove's going to be. Bottom's glued here, all the other parts are cut. Lados are cut. Side supports are all fit. So tomorrow we might just get rid of this monstrosity here and put the stove in right there. That's what we're shooting for. Ooh, that's it for today. MTO July 25. Got temporarily for the north wall, bottom carcass. Oops. A few loose wires there. Next move is put the stovetop in. And then we're going to move over here. Oh, oops. Yeah. Okay. Those runners, of course, go in the center there. Got to do some serious reinforcing so that giant drawer doesn't sag. But it looks like there's room for the corner closet. Right now everything seems to be fitting pretty well. And we hope it continues that way. It's been a while. End of August. What do we got that we didn't have before? Let's see. And we got the Wolf in here. Can't see him too good, but Wolf is in there. There's two carcasses ready for drawers. Whoa! God. East wall. Carcasses. There's another one here. Standard glue up. Who said you can't have enough clamps? That's right. Then we got a cabinet carcass here, wall cabinet carcass. Oh, got the oven in. Maybe that was in before. I don't know. There's another carcass out here somewhere. Shit. Ah, there it is, just like the other one. Needs a little finishing. Yep, and the Colorado for old backpacking, so the Opus is on hold. These cabinets just need the backs. There's a back right there. It's going to be going on that back cabinet. Get the other back on. Hopefully these will all be on the wall tonight before I leave. Okay. Mr. T's Opus mid-September update. Let's see, we got the coffee center finally done. It's a real bitch plumbing in the two coffee makers in such a way that you could pull them out if you had to. And the espresso machine, it turns out, when plumbed in, requires a drain connection. Something omitted in the literature. That was a lot of fun. On the brighter side, we've got the, oops, got no focus there. You got the, whoopsie. Got the sills and skirts and the trim piece cut. One's installed. And the other, of course, goes in the other window. But that's come out okay. This one hasn't been put together yet. And in the process of being finished. I think we saw the countertops before. Oh yes, over here I've had to redo the wall board. Inserting a 1/4 inch piece with all the cutouts. I only got a third of it done because the jag who hung the original wall board couldn't get it close to straight. There's a 1/2 inch vertical tilt. It's 3/4 of an inch out on the horizontal back there. And there's too big a gap between the countertops for the backsplash tile. So hopefully today I'll have that little problem worked out. Idiot. The tile man is due to come in and put up the backsplash probably within the next week. Got this all ready for the drawers. Let's see, here we have a little corner sample. Okay. Of the raised panel design that's going to be employed on all the cabinet doors. Unfortunately, because of the thickness and size of the doors, they're all going to have to be done with mortise and tenon joinery. It should only add a couple seasons to the projected completion date. Anything else new here? Let's see, on the docket. Oven has to be removed again so I can move the cabinet just a little bit. Screw it in and square it up. And we'll go up with the shelf over the cabinet. The end panels with the lower cabinet banks with beveled inserts here and here. I'll make those. I gotta finish all the face frames now all the way around. And over here we're going to go ahead and complete the drawer cabinet combination so we can move the micro up where it belongs. And this little bank here, except for the top two doors, will be finished. Oh, here's a sample of the crown molding. Nice focus. I gotta learn how to use this camera. African Academy Award. Okay, that's the crown, and here is the little sample piece. Oh yeah, that's great. Of the window casing. But there we go. Light is the thing. Okay. I think that's up to the minute. Oh, we got the little granite shelf installed. So now, as I say, we're all ready for tiling. And when the aforementioned scheduled work is complete, we will revisit. Now, it's been so long since we got any Opus footage, I can't remember where we left off, but doesn't matter because not much has been done. And we get the windows in, probably covered that, the sills and the, whatever the understrip is called. The windows here, I don't know if we can see them in the light. Let's try the other side. Not good. Yeah, there. Anyway, they had to be planed down a 16th, and I had to cut some veneer and veneer over them because the pine just could not be made to look like cherry. But the veneering came out okay. There's the, oopsie. That's the door for the corner closet. One side's about a D plus, the other side's about a B minus. But I learned some things that'll help on the cabinets. Here's a stove cabinet. Oh, it looks so tall in this aspect ratio. An idea of the OG raised panel configuration. It's going to go on the cabinet doors. Let's see if I can zone in on where I broke the marble. No reason to bring myself down. I don't know if anything else up here is new or not. I'm doing a lot of work on the, there it is, 43 piece dormer window treatment. Here's some of that right here. A little hard to tell from this. Well, there's a primed keystone block right there. Gotta focus more on that when I get it painted. Here's some more parts, some pieces over here, some painted. Most not. Well, I think we're going to have some bonus footage today and see how Mr. Tommy's Opus was made. We'll go down to the basement. Here's back porch, not much. Chop saw's tearing out, so I'm going to put another bearing in it. Hopefully we get a little smoother blade travel. Whoa, look at that. Oh, what happened there? Close up on the chop saw. Okay. Now we go down. Oops. Okay, this heat for the most part, at least those 2-inch planks of white ash, and someday will make up the drawers for the kitchen. Obviously haven't been dimensioned yet. Okay, oops, don't go right. Okay. And workshop. Here we got a portion of the rails and stiles for the cabinet doors. They're actually, as of yesterday, all cut. Well, they're not all in the same place, but going right along. As you can observe here on these rails, for example, went with full-blown mortise and tenon joinery. Unheard of in commercial cabinet making, probably because it's overkill. But on the other hand, as a joiner, if I didn't go with the mortise and tenon joinery, I couldn't have rationalized the purchase of this little here. Mortise chiseler, cool tool. But here's my shop made router table. Oh man, focus. Strong suit. This little puppy is probably the sine qua non of the whole deal. Okay, sophisticated storage back there. Planer, another important little tool, and a whole big bandsaw. That's an important one too. Okay, I think we're gonna go out to the outside shop now. Okay. Oops. Cut. There's the table saw, another important piece. The sliding arm here and the 5 horsepower motor were both upgraded upgrades that have paid for themselves many times over. Sliding arm really does some nice things, including save fingers. And here's what's left of the mother load. My flitch cut boule. Unfortunately, these 4 plank here were wrapped in several tarps on the driveway, which failed to prove waterproof, so they become quite wet. It could be weeks before I get them dried out. I gotta get them in the house. Since they're 14 feet long and 20 inches wide, I have to do a little hacking. But every piece of solid cherry in the kitchen or anywhere else in the house started out like this. Homely beginning. Gives you a lot of latitude though when you can make your own lumber. That's moldings for another day, another movie for me to watch. Okay, I think that's it for today. Oh yeah, there's circular saw. You know, if we're going for bonus footage, let's make it worthwhile. Okay. Here we go. Oh yeah, lovely, I don't know what it is today, April 1st. It's nice, wet, slushy, frozen snow. At 5:30 out knocking all this shit off the ancient arborvitae over there. That's kind of pretty now, I guess. Should be skiing. Damn. Well, I guess that's it for today. Oh, what? We'll get a little window shot. Out through the trees. That's where the 23-piece trim goes, or whatever. Probably should be getting that in. I hope it's not too late. Oh, yeah, that's more trim to do down there. Oh, these movies is depressing. Okay, over and out for the day. Okay. Not much snow in the kitchen department here. There's my zoom button. Yep, gotta find the zoom button. Found it. Whoop. Very little new, actually. I don't know if the panel detail was included. This is the way the doors will look eventually. Yeah, the kitchen work has slowed. Actually, it's going to come to a standstill. It's been this cough. That's a fuck off. Alright, actually there's been a reason I've had to apply my energies to the trim mold for the windows. Final trim. We were going to do that as a sequel, but the editing logistics really just prohibitive. So, I'm gonna take a little sidebar here, and there's a window right there. Yep. Now the windows, like all of the 33 pieces that comprise each window trim set, are primed all around, front, back, and sides, with 3 coats of marine epoxy. The last 2 coats of which incorporate a pulverized aluminum infusion. Waterproofing, of course. And so here's some kitchen work here. We have some more rails and stiles. They're ready to put together as soon as they have a raised panel to sandwich. Molding, rough cut, ready for mitering. Ah, yes, my latest. This is a bag and mesh for the vacuum press that I'm going to set up to handle the veneer work on the soffit. But we'll come back to that later. Now let's see, we'll take a walk in here, and of the some 400 pieces ultimately required for the windows, you can see we're getting there. This is well past the halfway point. Should manifest itself here. The molding pieces incorporate a number of bevels, routs, and in some cases, for the overall arch cuts, biscuit joinery. Oops. Okay, actually a few have a coat of the final finish, which is 3 coats of 2-part linear polyurethane, inspired by my source here. Where is that? Ah, yes, there it is. Oh. The Interlux Boat Painting and Color Guide. I selected yacht paint because of its superior UV package and unquestioned superiority and durability. All these little pieces aren't quite ready for painting because each one has to be scrubbed with a stiff brush and boat soap and carefully rinsed to remove the amine blush which surfaces after the epoxy cures. Then a little quick 120 sanding all over, a rinse with some horrible smelling solvent, and ready to accept the 3 coats of 2-part poly. Okay. Yep, moving outside now. It's kind of frightening. I rarely get out here. A lot of shit out here. Okay, here's the windows now. Yeah. Not exactly weathertight. Oh, all those frames, of course, have to be done with the same 3 coats of poly and the same prep. And soon they will be. Oh, those shingles all have to be trimmed with a roto-zip too to make a good, nice, flush joint against the final trim. I figure if I persist without compromise in the finishing of the trim, it'll look like aluminum, plastic. Nobody will ever know it's wood. A fucking plastic bathtub. But I'll know, of course. That gives me an idea. Maybe I should fashion a wooden bathtub. Yeah. Actually, well, this started out as a little home movie, nostalgia piece. I'm thinking about converting it to a reality show, treating the onset of dementia. This could be big. Okay, long time no film. But that's okay because not too much has been done. Take a look at the Bluestone progress here. Can't remember where we were at the last shooting. Put down a lot of stone. This this is the patio, obviously. Yep. Telephoto in. Okay, there's my furniture finished adirondacks after 3 years of exposure. Alright, here's the path. There will be a deck here. Come back with the regular lens. Here we are, curving. Got this part pretty much done. Fun. Going to put a 5-foot rosette here in the middle between the back porch and the garage. The last piece of prep work right here. Obviously all the landscaping is gone, and here's the gist of the fun right here. Dig down 10 inches, put back 8 inches of rock, 2 inches of limestone screening, the metal framing all smoothed out, and then get to cut all the bluestone with the wet saw. But as you can see, the pallets are getting smaller. Hopefully there's enough there to finish the job. We'll get the walkway here from the back to the street just about finished. Whoop. I say just about. And we'll get some better pics of this. But while we have the telephoto on, we'll take a look at, we got some of the window trim up finally. Keystone block. Corbels are still on the to-do list. Oop, keystone block not in there. Gives you the idea. Pretty happy with the way this is working out, actually. Still got 5 more to go on the 12 or whatever, but all the preliminary painting is done. Progress, sort. I think that's it for today. Put in the regular lens and catch up a little later. Been extremely dilatory in the filming of Mr. Tommy's Opus. Oops. So we're trying to get back on track. Help make up for it. Doing an immersion subplot here called the Making the Drawer. What we're looking at here is a piece of rough milk cut maple, which is where this drawer is going to start. Alright, the first thing we do is get the table saw and cut it down to smaller proportions. And then we take it downstairs and plane it. Take her downstairs and plane it, get her dimensioned up. And then I should get rid of the wide angle lens, but in any event, this piece here is now ready to be made into the pencil drawer. With this coolio deal here on the table saw, this cutter head must weigh 2 pounds. It's perfectly balanced, and on that 5 horsepower motor it generates an incredible amount of torque at the cutting points. Try a little demo here. We make it in multiple cuts, turn this on, make a pass, and we'll see what happens. Proceed to the next step. Okay, took the piece in, cut the base off on the bandsaw, did the resawing, planed it, smoothed it on the joiner, sanded it 4 times, and now it's ready for the final side trim cuts, which will bring it to dimension, at least lengthwise. Then we'll figure out how we're going to get the divider inserts in there. Okay, we got the puppy all sanded, final dimensioned, everything's beautiful, and now we got to make this last nerve-wracking route to create a slot for the dividers. And there is 0 margin for error, because if you can see the seam, it just ruins the whole deal. That was okay. 1 more to go. Okay. Cut the router slots without twitching, happily. So then I just had to mill a couple little pieces the same width as the slot, drive them in from the bottom, and voila! That joint is absolutely invisible until the motherfucker shrinks. But I'm happy. Okay, now I'll finish it up. Move on to the rest of the drawer. Oh, as you can see, the cut inside for the routed slot, of course, butts up against the drawer front. On the other side, of course, wasn't cut, so it's perfectly intact. One asks, how did those get in there? Okay, continuing the update here, we got the Backsplash in. Oh yeah, the old pot filler. Those are the days. The hood, I think we have committed to film. Not. There it is. A little more backsplash action here. Around we go. I don't think anything here is new. Maybe these finished doors are new. Rest of the backsplash, and then the desk. We do have the desk. Let's see, the drawer that we are working on is in fact for the desk. You can go right in there. Desk was a chore. This piece of molding on the back is actually one piece with the right angle cut out, so it would wrap around to the other side. You have the double kit molding down here. Really just as a compensation for a design screw up. But looks great, doesn't it? Okay, and we got the little fluty. Kazootie. Ooh, where's it? There it is. Yeah. Flute work there. That looks a little rough because it isn't in its final position. And the bookcases, of course. We go. Starting on the corner cabinet, where we can finally, I would hope, utilize the door here that was made, I don't know, about a year and a half ago, maybe longer. That's a cool one. Okay, nope, forgot to stop recording. Here's the flip side of the desk thing. Up we go, and then of course there will be a soffit and a curved cutout and all that up there eventually. Okay. Okay, we took that other big chunk of maple on the table saw and dimensioned it and then resawed it down the middle with the bandsaw and produced this book match pair for the sides. Camera's not bringing you the book matching too well, but oh yeah. There it is. And we cut the other piece over here, forward the back, big deal. We'll finish these off, do the dovetailing, and then find a piece of cherry for the front. See, because the depth of cut is less than the width of the dovetail I've got to rabbet the corners for the through dovetails. Another tedious little procedure, no margin for error. My little sled configuration, oh no. Well, hopefully minimize that possibility. Oh, I've lost the touch with this camera, bad.
There's my other girl. Oh, she's so camera shy. Okay, I'm stopping.
Okay, next step is we'll saw off a piece of this cherry plank here and take it down with the bandsaw, the planer, and the joiner. Bring it to dimension. Okay, then here's the front. Because this is a conventional drawer on sliders, because there's not room for those bloom hinges, there's no reason to make a sub front. So the front is just a solid 3/4 inch piece of cherry. Maple back and sides. There's our little pencil drawer, holder, whatever. And we went ahead and cut the dados for the drawer bottom. At the same time, finished the rabbets. So now it's time for the dovetailing, which is all about the spacing, and namely that middle space gauge there, which I had to make to get the dovetail size for this width of plank as I wanted it. It's you know, the width of the dovetail cutter and its angle of cut, you know, the depth of cut. So remembering that A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Apply the old 7th grade trigonometry, and you have the spacing accurate to 1/1000th of an inch, which is pretty much what's required if you really want to get it right. So now comes the nervous part. Okay, all the dovetails are cut and cleaned up. I've got the dado routed for the bottom. Half blind dovetails are ready to go. I decided to use teak inserts for the slides for the top sliding drawer that Nancy wanted, because it's so nice and oily. So we got those bad boys in there right now. Teak's a little tough to glue, especially this teak, because it really is oily. So we scrape it down with acetone on the glue side and use epoxy. So far that's worked pretty well. So we'll let this set up a little bit more, clean it up, and we'll do some sanding and get the bottom ready. Okay, clamp it went alright. Now we got to clean that up and plane it down, and then we'll route a dovetail cut the entire length of the teak to accept the slide holders for the little top drawer. Okay, last stage is making the sliding writing tray for Nance, for which we're going to use teak. So I got this nice chunk of rough hewn teak out of the garage, and now we're going to resaw it, plane it, dimension it into three nice, probably 3.5, 4-inch planks. If I had a camera crew here, I could actually show you the resawing process that all of this lumber, of course, has to go through, but basically smooth it up on the joiner, square one edge, bring it back to the bandsaw, cut it in slices, then to the planer to plane it to, in this case, a 1/2-inch dimension, then back to the joiner to clean up the edges, and then up to the chop saw to put the cross cut on the final dimension ends. This part's fun. Well, we're running out of tape here, so we can wrap up this part of the segment. This is the maple plywood. It's going to be the desk bottom. And the first time I put a little seal coat on it, it was way too orange, so I had to bleach it with the 2-part wood bleach, finish it with oxalic acid, and sand it down, and I think it's going to be all right. It's a nice piece of maple grain, but I don't know. And over here, just about ready for assembly. We've got the pencil drawer, which is sealed with poly. There's a little slip for the dividers. This is the show side. The sides are all done. We got the dovetails here, the blind dovetail ends, and the teak insert with the dovetail cut for the runners. The front is done. That's the pin board cuts for the dovetail. This is the pin board cut on the other side end. They've all been sanded 5 times, seal coated twice with wiping poly, and are ready for assembly as soon as the bottom dries and gets a second coat of poly. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to work on the sliding writing drawer or shelf. Okay, here's the teak after a couple passes on the jointer. The camera doesn't really pick up how nice and smooth this is now. Just incredibly oily. You really wipe it off on your hands. Unfortunately, plantation grown teak it is not of this quality. Here's the other planed edge. And all we need is a good right angle edge, a good flat bottom. So when we resaw it, the board is in parallel alignment with the bandsaw blade. So we don't have to waste a lot of wood planing because we get a less than perpendicular cut. So now it's time to slice it up. And this 5 horsepower motor on this bandsaw really earns its keep when it comes to this kind of thing. This will cut through 12 inches of teak in a pretty nice fashion. Happy to have it. Uh-oh, this is telling me we're out of film. Well, here's the first slice. You can see, although not so well with the camera perhaps, how dark the teak becomes when it oxidizes. Fortunately, that's a process that doesn't take too long. So the green cuts on the inside, in a day or two, will take on that nice dark brown, oily finish. We take this back to the joiner, get another dead flat surface on it, make sure it's right angle, repeat this twice, and we'll plane it down then and have 3 nice half-inch planks. We got to put in a new film cartridge. Okay, we got 2 coats of wiping poly on all the interior surfaces. All steel wool down, and now we put a heavy coat of paste wax on all the surfaces that adjoin the mating surfaces to act as a release agent for the epoxy. Everything's all trimmed up and ready for glue up. Okay, now the glue up grunt is done. Epoxy takes about 8 hours to set up. Then we'll plane down, sand down the outside surfaces. And put in the teak inserts for the drawer slides. So far so good. Okay, next morning, glue up is done. Now we're going to run these outside corners over the jointer a couple times just to clean them up, bring them flush, and then these outside surfaces. Focus. There we go. A little glue on there. Yeah, clean that up. And the 4 outside surfaces will be sanded 5 times. On the maple surfaces, get a couple coats of the wiping poly. The cherry will get the same finish as the cabinets with the varnish oil and the rub down. So, off we go to the jointer. Oops, battery's running low. Okay, we got this cleaned up, and now I made a dovetail cut in each side. So with a 3/4 bit, but ran a couple extra passes to get it out to 1 inch, and then planed and cut these teak inserts. Now we got to match the dovetail bevel, jam them in there and glue them, and then run a 3/4 dovetail down the middle, and we'll be just about ready to put the glides on the inside of the desk. I'm use this bad boy router bit here to round off the ends of the teak inserts before I slice them. These big boys are creepy. So I want to stick my hand on this one. Check this. Okay, we got the insets glued in here. It actually looks better than it looks in the video here, but as you can see, it's dovetailed in. Yeah, there we go. Focus. Thank you. Then we take one nerve-wracking final pass with a 3/4 inch dovetail, and then a little sanding, and that's ready to take the slide. So we'll have the teak inlays for the teak slides on the outside, and similarly, well, we have the teak insets for the sliding tray on the inside. This hasn't been final sanded and cleaned, but you get the idea. Teak on teak. Hope it works. Okay, I took some of that teak from the garage and milled it down to 1/2 inch plank and dimensioned it. Cut tongues and grooves on the router table. Now we're going to put this together for the sliding tray. Okay, here's the glue up for the sliding door tray. What fun. Oh, over here we have the first course glued up of the, sorry about the obstructions, that's okay. This is only 2 rows of 10. That's the inset cutting board for the island. Okay, well, here's the teak sliding door. It's been squared up on the table saws, cleaned up with the card scraper, sanded 6 times. Now it gets one last 320 wet sanding with the rosewood oil. Creates a nice little slurry that fills a lot of the open grain. I hope the color on the video is a little more true to life than what's coming through the viewfinder here, because this isn't even close. But nonetheless, onto the rosewood oil treatment. Okay, here's the last big glue up. This is for the pencil tray. Everything else is pretty much done. And now I got another fun one over here. This is the second 2 rows of 10 the butcher block cutting board insert. Yeah. The sliding table for this drawer came out nice enough, so I decided to set up the spray gun and give it 4 coats of lacquer. That's 3 right now. Now it's time for a sanding and then final coat. And the drawer should be done under, of course, mounting the slides and putting it in place. Okay, and here it is all ready for sliding into place. I went ahead and fluted the front to kind of tie in with the fluting here on the legs of the desk. So, the good news here is that this, oh, it's a little more difficult than most of the others, is number 33 of 33. The bad news is I blew off the tip of another finger. God damn, that one really smarted. Okay, we got all the pieces, the white ash pieces cut for the over the oven pan dividers. Got the all the edge banding done. Dados are all cut. It's a pain in the ass because with the tapering dividers, I didn't want to run the dados the full width of the shelf. Put it in now. There's the sides, there's the top over there. And now ready to start putting them together. Okay, Opus update. Tired of this. Let's see, it's November 1st, 2012. I think we were last looking at the construction of the vertical shelves. There they are in place now. Oops, didn't finish that quite yet, but we'll get to it. Sadly, had to jerk the whole oven out of the wall completely and shift the cabinet for it, move the electric so that the face frame molding balanced around the whole combined unit, but we got the oven sitting back into the cabinetry now. It looks a lot better. Now, one more little aspect behind us. Hey! Okay, next on the agenda after the vertical shelves is the corner cabinet. This one has me a little nervous. The walls here were so miserably out of true that I just had to tear them out completely. And even then, the studs weren't in alignment with themselves, let alone with level. So these cross studs had to be individually dadoed to compensate for the out of alignment verticals and to create a square and a flat surface for the paneling. The floor, of course, was not even close to true. I needed some tiles anyway, so I had to tear the tiles out of the floor, re-pour the subsurface, and then build a 2x4 grid to put this plywood on. Not the greatest, but this isn't going to be a traffic area anyway, you know. Oh yeah, there we are. Blood, my blood. I'm bleeding like a pig these days. that's all about. So, this little corner frame up here was a real pain too, but gotta have a good surface because I'm trying to get away with 1/4-inch plywood back here, and it really needs some support behind it. And we got all these little, zoomer, side braces in place all the way up. Supplemented the insulation, even wrapped the old hot water pipe since it takes about 5 minutes to get to the shower. See if that helps. And now we're finally ready to start putting in the back paneling. An example of which stands right here. This is going to be easy. The sides we'll come back to, but they are much more complicated because they're two-sided, of course. And, one side has veneer that, of course, is at the exposed portion. We'll come back to those at installation time. It'll make more sense if I'm still around. So that's it for this morning. Still November 1st, 2012. Okay, back to the Opus. It is November. Late November 2012. This is the glue up for the thick veneer facing on the 2 door frame pieces. Glad I got plenty of clamps. Those go over here. I can't see much in there with this light. Ooh, no focus. There we go. Doesn't matter. Got the threshold piece in. It's elevated to maintain the same profile as the toe plate will under the cabinets. It's a pain in the ass. Bigger pain in the ass though is this. Walls were so out of square that I had to tear out all the drywall and shim all the studs. There was one that was true, shim all the others vertically and horizontally. So when I put that 1/4-inch plywood on there, it would be true and form decent corners, which happily it did. These outside pieces here are makeup of 1/4-inch plywood on the inside, 3/8 BC pine, and then a layer of high quality thick veneer on the show side. And we got it all tapped in and manipulated here. There'll be a cross piece there. So I got to build out the 2 vertical end pieces for the shelves. Maybe in the dark you can see the shelf support molding. Probably not, but that's okay because there's some more of it right there, along with a 1/4 round, all hand tuned on the old router table. So I think that's about it for now. Hopefully we'll have a lot more to show tomorrow. Over here sits the door, patiently waiting for its placement there in the corner. Going on its 2nd year now. A lot of patience. Key.